Time for another video that could backfire on me. More players to avoid in FPL. Stick with me and I'll take you through my list. Now, I remember telling you about Diogo Dalot in my last players to avoid video, but to be honest, I think I can extend that to the whole of the United defence. Pretty much, as a Man United fan, I know that we're reliant on the Varane and Martinez partnership in order to keep clean sheets. I think, especially when Varane's not in the team, you really go downhill defensively because obviously Maguire plays and he's just not been at it for United. So they're going to miss Boxing Day, Varane and Martinez, because they're either recovering or been given some time off after playing in the World Cup final. And I'm still not convinced they'll be back, firing for game week 18. It might still be that, the likes of Maguire and Lindelof play game week 18. Also, David De Gea, I'm seeing him in a few teams as well, but I just think there are so many alternatives in goal. You can have the likes of Kepa, Ramsdale, Pope, Ward and Iverson as a double up. I just think that's already better than going for David De Gea. Dalot as well, the player that I mentioned previously, he is confirmed to have a hamstring injury. Exactly the extent of that, we don't know. But he did miss the Carabao Cup game, which was last night against Burnley. He just didn't feature at all, which suggests to me that he's very much touch and go for game week 17. For that reason, I think I'd just avoid him. The thing is with hamstring injuries as well, I don't know, usual recovery times from my memory are 3 to 4 weeks. So I think he could well miss game week 17, maybe 18 as well. And just in terms of the fixtures, at face value, those first three look really good. But Man City and Arsenal in 20 and 21 are not that great. And I just think for that reason, there may be one or two clean sheets, 17, 18, 19, if Varane and Martinez play. To be honest, I'm not even sure there'll be one or two. I think you're looking at one maximum, really. And then Man City and Arsenal, I don't think United are going to keep a clean sheet in. I think Man United defence should be stiffly ignored. Continuing on with the defensive theme, we've got the Liverpool defence. Now, they're not quite as popular, I've noticed, in FPL drafts as the Man United ones, but I just think there's enough data built up behind them now to say that they've really gone downhill defensively. They're 11th in the league for expected goals conceded, and then actually 16th in the league for actual goals conceded. They've even exceeded their expected goals conceded with what they've actually conceded this season. So they're not looking very good in my opinion. And to be honest, I think they're being found out for their high line. From my perspective, I don't think they're a stiff ignore forever and eternity. I think what we need to see before actually buying them is a genuine improvement in their defence. I think if they keep playing at the same level that they were before the World Cup, then absolutely they should be ignored. But if they start to pick things up and we see 2 or 3 clean sheets in the next 5 or 6 games, for example, then I think you could definitely consider them a bit more highly. Obviously, the likes of Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Alisson are probably the standouts that you can pretty much guarantee to play most games. And if they do start keeping clean sheets again, then these guys do become good options again. But I just don't see it happening, I've got to be honest. I think we've got a big enough pool of data this season now. I think Liverpool played 14 matches, and I think that's enough to tell us that their defence is not very good. And the fact that they're 16th in the league for goals conceded and they've played less fixtures than some teams in the league as well. I think some teams have played 15 fixtures, whereas Liverpool have only played 14. That suggests their defence could be even worse than 16th in the league. And for the prices that they come in at, I just don't think you can go near them. So Liverpool defence, another avoid for me. And then on to a couple of individual players. First up, I've gone for Che Adams. Now, I've seen him popping up in quite a lot of drafts, and I think people are being somewhat distracted by the fixtures that Che Adams has got. I think on paper, at least, Southampton probably have the easiest fixture run, at least from 17 to 22. And I think that's drawing people towards picking their centre-forward, and that's obviously Che Adams. 6.4 million, he's pretty cheap, but realistically, I just don't think he's a very good option. This season, he's only scored 4 goals in 12 starts. He's it's pretty decent, but he's not nailed to play every game. And I think for that price, compared to the likes of Mitrovic, you want someone that's going to play every match. And he started 12 of 14 possible games the other side of the World Cup. And I just think my general point is there are just better options around that price bracket. Mitrovic, for example, I know people are worried about his 4 yellow cards, but Yeah, I just think he's such better an option. He's got similar underlying numbers to the likes of Harry Kane, and he's only 0.4 million more than Shea Adams. Another point about Southampton, obviously, they've got a new manager now. I believe his name's Nathan Jones, former Luton boss. We just don't know how they're going to play under him. Luton, I'm a Bristol City season ticket holder. I watched them play in the Championship against City this season, and they play three at the back. So whether they'll do that for Southampton, whether Nathan will choose to play a three at the back for Southampton, remains to be seen. But I do think we can see some changes in the Southampton system and the style of play, and that might have an impact on Shea Adams' performances, either obviously better or worse. But I just don't think Shea Adams is a good option regardless. And in my opinion, he just misses too many chances to be a proper option in FPL. I think the likes of Mitro, Martial, and Nketiah are probably better than Shea Adams. So for that reason, I think I'm going to ignore him. Then finally, another player who is popping up in quite a lot of drafts as well, and that's Mason Mount. Now, I don't think he's a terrible option, but similar to Shea Adams, I just think there are better options around that price point. You've got all the Arsenal midfielders, Rashford, Kulusevski, Foden even. I just think there are better options for this price. And yeah, his underlying numbers this season have not been great at all. He's only got 2 goals and 2 assists in the 14 games that he's played. And his expected stats are even worse than that. It's only 1.5 expected goals and 1.5 expected assists. And it's less than 0.3 returns per 90. So he's expected to get less than 1 attacking return every 3 games, which I think for a midfielder in your FPL team, I just don't think those stats are good enough. Obviously, the reason you'd be drawn to Mason Mount is the fact that Chelsea probably have some of the strongest fixtures of any team, certainly from 17 to 22. Obviously, they got the double in 19, a tricky game against Man City. But the other one in that lot is Fulham. And you start off with Bournemouth and Forest. But I'm just not convinced he's going to start those 2 games in double game week 19. And yeah, just on the whole, I think there are much better options around that price point other than Mason Mount. I think he'd be a great differential if his underlying numbers were better, but I think we've got a big enough pool of data now to suggest that he's probably not the best option in midfield. Again, like everything, this could come back and bite me, but I think those underlying numbers that Mason Mount has, they draw a strong case to say you probably shouldn't be picking him. And that concludes the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it or either found it useful. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree with what I said, any other players you look to avoid. Let me know. This is my opinion. You might disagree, and that's what the game's all about. So please, I won't be offended if you disagree with me. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like. And if you want to see more, I'll have plenty more FPL content coming out for the rest of the season. Subscribe to the Golden Goal channel to stay tuned. I'll see you later.